Welcome everyone to this crypto morning on Saturday, August 17th, 2024. In financial markets, we've seen great performance. The case started low but ended high, up nearly 3%. The S&P 500 also performed well, gaining almost 4%, and the market closest to us in risk-taking is Nasdaq. It's up over 5% with Thursday's exceptional 2.34% gain. This is also interesting in terms of adoption. Franklin Templeton, with Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs, will launch an index based on both. It will have specific proportions. You'll be able to buy it like a SICAV in France, an investment fund where you can purchase a share worth 100 backed by 70 in Bitcoin and 30 in Ethereum. And it's interesting, it'll bring more liquidity for people who want to invest not just in Bitcoin or Ethereum, but in a kind of package. And obviously the idea of this package isn't to have just two products. It's to add maybe 5% XRP, 5% Solana, 3% Chainlink. It's the start of a sort of investment fund in the crypto sector. Of course, this is what led to success and explosion in the stock markets. Tron Network, which is definitely the star of this mute, is dominating the stablecoin market, especially in transfers. And maybe it's the case for you, but many of us are transferring USDT on Tron simply because it's generally the cheapest. It's almost become a habit for a long time now. It's reliable, works well, and it's cheap. Then it's interesting because for me it's the second wave of arrivals. We've talked a lot about Fidelity BlackRock, but I find Q2's newcomer very interesting. It was certain Goldman Sachs would arrive. I don't know Capoulas or Avenir, but Goldman Sachs is coming in strong. I wouldn't be surprised if by year's end they have several billion in TF Bitcoin. They have $500 million now, but I think it'll grow very quickly. I think if the market capitulates now, while many are afraid and fatigue sets in, I believe there are people who, after 6 months of this cycle, might say, okay, I'll sell everything, and I think you'll be selling to Goldman Sachs. Next, this is very interesting because it's a criticized project. I have a position in Wallcoin, as I've always said. I fully stand by this project, even if it's criticized, even if ethically we can debate for decades. Malaysia has just adopted Wallcoin simply as a digital ID. I think it's a phenomenal topic, though obviously there's a big brother aspect. But from a business perspective, I think it's a good investment. The token's been massacred on the chart. It's not looking pretty. Let's check Wallcoin because I think it's fallen to stratospheric levels. It's gone 10x. If it drops to $1, well, I'm telling you, honestly, $1 is a great opportunity. But even now, it's a great opportunity. I simply think it'll repeat this kind of pattern in the bull market, maybe with more amplitude. That's what I think. If it drops a bit, it's a token. I often talk about multiplying a token that's maybe 20 times more powerful. Small note, interesting. So Bitcoin volumes are starting to drop, but they're still high. Over the month, it's down 8% on Bitcoin. And wow, look at that, scary minus 23.9%. Opportunity, as we've seen gas fees lower. I think starting a small DCA on Ethereum is small. Look at the previous cycle. In March 2020, the euro-dollar fell, starting an upward trend. It aligns until March 2020, then dips. Bitcoin's second peak. This phase isn't much, but it's the last bull market. For months, I've said we need a euro-dollar rally. It had crashed during the bear market. Oddly, in September, October 2022, it matched the market rebound. We saw a surge until July 2023, then it dipped slightly. We also saw a small explosion from October to January, and since January, boom. What's interesting is we're in a similar range, kind of like Bitcoin since 2024. Now we're surging, passing the 50-day and 100-day moving averages. The last hurdle we'll discuss later is if weekly it blows up the 100 moving average because it's recovering from the lows, might be starting maybe a new bull cycle. And overall, we were talking about it in 2022. We talked about it in 2023. I told you, look, there's the euro dollar that's shivering when it really started to explode. Strangely, you'll see a few weeks later, it's the beginning of good things about Bitcoin. So for now, Bitcoin, absolutely nothing to say. Honestly, spending 10 minutes on doing chart analysis on Bitcoin, I think it's a waste of time. Enjoy your other weekends and your time off. Convergence of the moving averages. Some will get the shivers about the crosshair, but for me, it's nothing at all. There's a nice convergence. It's going to have to converge and we're going to have to be patient. But for now, there's nothing to say. I'll go to the quiet force now. It's XRP that blew everything up here, which is coming to support, hesitating, but in the process of a major reversal figure globally for a year. Even weekly, we've talked about it a lot. Today's opportunity, I think, is anchor. If you haven't looked recently, it's almost crazy. We're simply back to last year's price before it exploded, before it performed well, tripling or so. We're back, which is very tough in the crypto market, I think, for many. Because even if you bought here, tripled your money, and now all your gains are gone. That's personally my case, but I think the opportunity is enormous. Next, I wanted to talk about Fetch. This migration has been a huge flop so far. Compared to the high before they announced the migration, maybe they shouldn't have migrated. We're down almost 80%. Minus 80% is completely insane. I think this is also a great opportunity, especially as we're reaching, if you draw here, a kind of resistance. I think we may have bounced here. Maybe we'll test this zone again. If we retest with a candle like this, I think Fetch is a fantastic opportunity. And that's all from me. Have a great weekend. See you soon. Bye, everyone.